Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for another episode today. And as you may be able to tell from the title or the big giant pile of random envelopes in front of you, we're going to dive back into my Sportlots box here. I've been trying to finish this off. I think I've done 2 videos so far, but I did let this thing build up to the point where there were like 40 orders in it or something like that. So we're just going to kind of go from the top here. I'm going to rip some of these open until we get to, say 10-minute mark or so, and we'll see how much damage we can do. I suspect I'm not going to get through all of this. It's a pretty lengthy size stack, as you can see there, but hopefully we can at least kill off maybe half of what's left and keep this to 2 remaining episodes. This one's a 2-card order that the seller put in a single top loader. Looks like it's relatively secured anyway, but let's take a look. One of these 2 cards I'm really excited about. They're both the same player for my hockey collection, but let's get these out now. The first card is one that I've shown before, but I grabbed another copy of it because I honestly couldn't resist leaving this one behind. The price point was right at like $2.50. This is from Panini's Donruss Elite or Panini's Elite set when they had a hockey license, and it is the Great Outdoors insert, and obviously you can tell why I love this one. It is acetate. So just love the work on this one. It's a Winter Classic based card, which for those of you who don't know, here's the Winter Classic logo here. That's an outdoor game that the NHL plays every year. And so obviously that lends itself to a Great Outdoors themed set with, log cabin or wood type design to it. And again, acetate going on. So total sucker for those. I think that's my 3rd copy of the 500 of those that exist out there. But then the one I was really excited about, and I'm actually kind of tempted to take this out of the top loader here, out of the penny sleeve, just so you can really see how brilliant it is. But this is an O-Pee-Chee card, but it's a parallel, and the name is escaping me at the moment. The seller didn't provide an invoice, but it's got this pretty wild kind of like Dufex foil thing going on in the background here. I think it's maybe micro motion is what these are called. It's not numbered or anything, but it's just a gorgeous looking card, and it's an early career Ovechkin parallel. You can see this is a 2007 O-Pee-Chee card, so this is a 3rd year O-Pee-Chee of Ovi, and not one that you see every day. I think this is maybe the most expensive card, believe it or not, that I had in my whole Sportlots order. I want to say I paid $15 for that, but pretty satisfied with that purchase. It looks like it's in great shape. And, I think stuff that's from his first 3 years of his career is pretty prized. So happy to have those 2 Ovies to get us started. Looks like we got a baseball single up next. And I remember getting this one for about $1. And it's a card that I've shown copies of before, but here's another one because I just can't help buying dupes sometimes. 2020 Topps Chrome Pink Refractor Juan Soto. Starting to kind of wake up a little bit with the bat, at least at the time that I'm filming this. And for $1, that's going right into the Soto Z Folio. Guess we're just kind of starting with the small packages first. So let's cut into the middle of this here and grab something that's a little bit larger. This looks like or feels like a small bundle of cards from this seller, and they included an invoice, so we'll see what I paid for these exactly. Okay, so we've got 4 total cards here. 2 baseball, 2 hockey. And this first one cost the site minimum 18 cents. I've shown another card from this, or similar releases before. This is the 2017 Topps Chrome Future Stars Trey Turner. Very solid player. I'm just a huge fan of these colorful refractory Future Stars inserts every year in Topps Chrome. It's a 2nd year card of Turner. And for 18 cents, I'm happy to kind of scoop that one up into the collection. I don't consider myself a Turner collector. I know he's not even with the Nationals any longer, but it's just a really aesthetically pleasing card of a solid player, and had to scoop that one up. Then we have a Juan Soto here from 2 years later, the same insert set in 2019 Topps Chrome. And this is a card that I have a lot of copies of. My goal was to fill up a 9-card page in my Juan Soto Z Folio, but I think I went a little overboard because I actually, in the last one of these that I acquired, filled up the page, and that made number 9. So this, I think, is copy number 10 of this card for me, but I got this for under $2. It was like $1.50. And I'm a big believer in Juan Soto, and I know there's a million of that card. I'm not saying, go invest in Topps Chrome Future Stars Juan Soto or that it's going to be worth anything, but I just love for $1.50. I just enjoy picking those up. And then the absolute steal of the purchase, and it looks like, looking at the invoice, this particular order was done back in October of last year. So it's been, a good 9 months since I put this particular order through. But at that time, I grabbed 2 copies of this card for $2 a piece because I just didn't understand why this card wasn't selling for more than it was. So $4 for this pair. It's the 2018 Upper Deck Canvas Alex Ovechkin, where he is standing in front of the Stanley Cup Championship banner being hoisted. And I just think that the image is so memorable. I love that you get, his jersey number and name right there. And I love the angle of this, shot from behind, and you kind of see his perspective on the ice as the banner is raised. In the time since I bought this, the 9 or 10 months since I bought this, I think this is probably closer to a $20 card now. So these have gone up about 10 times what I paid for them back in October of last year. So I can never have too many copies of this particular card if I'm finding them at those prices. And these are going to go right into the Ovechkin Z Folio. So that's awesome. I'm going to get a very solid injection to the OVZ from today's additions from the Sportlots box. So that's it for that seller. Just had those 4 cards there. Next up, we got a single card. This was a whopping 25 cents, and I was hoping it would make it here earlier than it did because I wanted to use this for a VR that I did recently for Ken over at Ken's Cardboard, where I showed awesome cards featuring the Stanley Cup. And before we get to that, this is pretty cool. So even though I bought a single card from this seller for 25 cents, and then shipping was also 25 cents to the box, so I paid 50 cents total. Yet the seller threw in 2 bonus cards, Steve Mason and Neil Broughton, and it just so happens, this is amazing. I know exactly where these are going to end up. This one's a little bit wrinkled, so that's unfortunate. But I'll send this to Brian at Walk and Block because he's a Flyers fan, and I'll send this 88-89 Topps Neil Broughton to my buddy Peeps, who's a North Stars fan, being from Minnesota. So those throw-ins won't go to waste, so that's awesome. Then the card I was really after, this is a parallel. It's not a rare parallel. These were 1 per pack in 1995 Upper Deck Hockey, Electric Ice, but I chose this one because it's one of the greatest goaltenders of all time, but I picked it because it's one of the greatest photographs of the 90s on hockey cards. Look at this Martin Brodeur. I'm going to try to tilt it so you can see his name right up top there in foil, kind of above the cup. You have the Electric Ice foil on the side, which is what designates this as an Electric Ice parallel, but this card's all about the photo. I've got a couple copies of this base card and decided when I was kind of looking at Stanley Cup or cards featuring the Stanley Cup recently that I wanted to try to get the Electric Ice parallel of this one. And when I looked up on Sportlots and saw that somebody had that for literally a quarter, jumped on that right away. So just another example of what I feel like I'm saying all the time, and that is you don't need to spend a lot of money to have a great time in this hobby. 50 cents shipped for that Marty Brodeur hoisting the cup. So great card there. I think I may have a second copy of that somewhere in here. Here's one that I paid about $9 for. This is a single. So that's a little bit on the expensive side for me for Sportlots. Just because you don't get to see pictures of the cards you're buying. And so it's a little bit of a gamble to take a risk on a card sight unseen. So most of my Sportlots purchases, because of that, are under $5, $5 and under, and many of them are literally pocket change. But this one I paid $9 and change for because I think this guy's kind of intriguing, and I just wanted to have a couple of cool rookie cards of his from the Marlins. Here's a Heritage Purple Hot Box Refractor of Jazz Chisholm Jr. So that is his rookie card. You can see the logo there. Just a total sucker for Heritage Chrome Refractors, and I thought that was a very nice looking Jazz card. So for less than $10, throw that one in the collection. I also grabbed, which I've shown in a video months back, I think at the same time, his Topps Chrome Refractor from Topps Chrome, which was also $10. So sunk $20 of my hard-earned money into a couple of Jazz Chisholm rookie cards, and if he goes on to have the type of career that it seems like he may be able to, I'll be happy I have those. And if he doesn't, it was only 20 bucks. And yes, here's one more, so I was correct. This was a 50-cent pickup and then 40 cents in postage, so still less than $1. Here's the other copy of the Marty Brodeur Electric Ice Parallel. I mean, that photo is just amazing. I'm gonna try not to just go on and on here because I did an entire video response recently about cards featuring athletes hoisting the cup, but it just doesn't get much cooler than that. As a hockey fan, and love that Upper Deck treats us to some cup cards every year. And we're up over the 10-minute mark here, so let's do one more envelope. We'll call it a day. This one is from Thunder Bay, Ontario, so I'm going to guess that there may be hockey cards inside of here. Very well packaged. Inside the envelope, we have a small manila envelope, which contains the cards in a top loader and team set bag. So very good job by the seller protecting these. Looks like we have a grouping of about 3 or 4 cards here. Let's take a peek. Yes, we have 4 total cards. And these came to $10 total for the 4, and then $2 in postage. So 10 bucks for these 4. And let's see what I chose. First and foremost, oh, and you know what? One of these was refunded. So there's actually only 3 cards here that came to a total of $5. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you know what? The one that was refunded was just $1. Looks like just $1. So $9, 3 cards. So I paid an average of $3 a piece for these. The first one is from O-Pee-Chee Platinum. It is the Rainbow, which is like a refractor, but it's also the Retro from 2015. Alex Ovechkin. Look at the colors on this card. Just pop. Now, I mean, this doesn't have etching or anything, but it does have like a really cool white or bright foil outline around the player that kind of helps him pop. And that coloring in the background is just really cool on these retro parallels. So love that. You know, an OV refractor for $2. You know, even though this is like a mid-career card, that's just going to look fantastic in his Z Folio. And then on that note, here's the regular Rainbow, the non-retro from that same set in refractor or rainbow format, also acquired for $2. So for $4, you got the regular flavor and the retro flavor. You cannot go wrong. I mean, he's arguably the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL. Those cards should not be available for $2 a piece. So snatch those up. And then the last card, also a hockey card. I paid up $5 for this one. One of my favorite guys to sneaky collect, and still has a great value, I think. Leon Draisaitl. This is the 2016 O-Pee-Chee Platinum Ice Blue Tracks. And it uses the Tracks parallel is kind of similar to like what's known as, I think, Mojo in baseball cards, but from Panini, for example. But really, really cool. Love the look of this. Just gorgeous. This is like I guess would be like a 3rd year Draisaitl card. And I do have the McDavid of this as well, which is a 2nd year McDavid. So I figured it'd be really nice to have the Leon to put with it. Dude just scores and puts up points like an absolute machine and does not get the hobby love that he should despite that. So that's a wrap. We're going to call it here as we approach the 15-minute mark. Just a sneak peek at some of my sport lot grabs from over the past 10 months or so. Still have a pretty good size stack of envelopes, so we'll be back for at least one more installment from this sport lot box. But for today, I appreciate you spending some of your valuable time with me here on the channel. Would love to hear from you with any thoughts or opinions in the comments. And as always, I'll be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care.